Okay, Coach, you're back on the ice with ASU. How have things looked for the first few days on ice at Mullen?
Pretty good. We're a good 10 days in, in limited hours. We're only limited to 4 hours a week with them right now, but we're getting a lot of system stuff in, and we're about ready to see how they go live, and I think the next 3 days we're going to do some live action and get some tape on them and teach through tape. And but we like our team. We like our team a lot. We have a few guys with bumps and bruises that are out right now, so it'll be nice to get a full roster back on the ice soon. But if there's a time for them to be out, it's now, not when we start. But we like our team. We're deep and we're very skilled, and we love our decor. I think this is probably top to bottom the best decor we've ever had.
You talk about injuries, and that was a problem last year. And so you're starting off with a few guys out there, but one of the group, the Jackson brothers, they were guys that had injury issues last year. How are they looking early so far in this first few weeks?
Better than they've ever looked, and they know this is their last year, so it's kind of their last kick at the can in college. And they came back for their fifth year because they wanted to be a part of this NCHC season and do big things for our program. They've been here now 3 years, and they're true Sun Devils, and they've had a tough go, and missed a lot of time over their first 2 years. But when they are healthy, they're electric, and you look at some of the games that they had last year when we had them in the lineup, beating Denver and Dylan scoring a hat trick, and when we got Ty back for the last 12 games, he really was a breath of fresh air and gave us a huge shot in the arm. So it's good to see them really confident right now and 100%. And now we just got to keep it that way.
And you talked about the grad kids that you have back this year, and you've got a pretty large group of seniors and grads coming back. How important is that for the leadership of this group?
It's very important, and it was by design. We wanted to design a very old, experienced team. So we hit the portal hard, really probably for the last time. We're always going to go to it and pick and choose from it and plug in holes where we need to, but we really wanted to go into this season in the first year conference play with a lot of experience. We have an old group, an old team, and tons of experience from all different leagues across the country, so guys that have competed in conference play. So that was important to us. We have a tremendous freshman up front, obviously, in Cullen Potter, and I think some of the allure to Arizona State for Cullen was that he was the only freshman forward. So he's insulated by a lot of experience around him. He's not going to be perfect out of the gates, but he's going to be good. And I think some of the mistakes he makes as a young player, certainly we're going to insulate with guys that have been there and done that around him.
I want to talk about Cullen Potter because I watched him skate out there for practice. Kid can fly.
Yeah.
Like, his skating is absolutely elite. And I asked the SID, he's 17.
Yeah.
17. And I was shocked to see someone at his age actually even coming into the NCAA. Are there concerns of a 17-year-old kid playing NCAA hockey for you?
I don't think with him. Again, how he's insulated with so much experience around him is really important. I was very curious. I got to know him, and he seemed and appeared to be incredibly mature throughout the recruiting process. And we were right. He is. He is blended in. If you didn't know he was 17 and you interact with him day to day and you see him interact with people in our program, you'd never know he was 17. He's a very mature kid. Does he have some habits and details in his game that we need to continue to work on? Absolutely, like any 17-year-old will. But you said it, with elite of a skater as he is, he's a world-class skater. He has world-class edges and world-class speed. He might be the best skater in this year's draft class. A lot of people think he is. Just the fact that he skates that well, and college hockey speed kills, he's going to be effective right away.
You talked about your veterans and your the graduate kids, and we mentioned the seniors and the insulation of Potter. But you also have to talk about your leadership group. Last year you had Tyler Gratton was your captain. Yeah. 2 years ago it was Josh Doan. When can we look forward to this group actually putting letters on these guys?
We're going to take votes here in about a week. So, we wanted to let the team settle in and let them naturally establish that kind of leadership group and pecking order. But we believe in a player vote and a staff vote. Everybody gets an equal vote. And we go from there. We did it last year, and Gratton, being a first-year guy and a one-year guy, was almost a unanimous pick. And he was arguably the best captain we've ever had. He was that good. So I think when the room gets what they want from a leadership standpoint, it's better for everybody. So I would say in about 7 to 10 days, you'll know who they are, and I'll know who they are.
You talk about the room. What's the feeling like with this group? I had a chance to talk to Lucas Sillinger, and it seems like he thinks this is a pretty strong group. From a coaching perspective, what do you think about the guys in the room right now?
I think it's a great room. It's a great culture. It's I think my biggest focus as a head coach in college is to make sure culture's good and the room is right. And I feel good about the room. I feel good about their approach every day. They've been dialed. They've been focused. They know our time with them right now is 4 hours a week, so it's very short. And we need to be pointed on how we go about our business, and they have been. So, however they're getting ready when we're not in there, before we go in there, they're doing a really good job of it.
Are you going to be able, with 4 hours a week, for a few more weeks yet, going to be able to get this team ready to go October 4th and 5th up in Colorado to play Air Force?
Yeah, we have a choice. Those are the rules. Everybody has to play by the same ones. So generally and historically, we've usually gotten off to a really good start. So we have a kind of a training camp layout and system in place, and we've templated it for the most part for the last 4 or 5 years, and it works really well with the time that we get with them, and it covers everything that we need to cover. They did change a rule where 2 weeks prior to the first game, we can now use the 8 hours total for on ice, and then the week we play Air Force, we're back into regular hours. So we'll get more time with them this year than we ever have, but I feel good about where we are today.
I've got to talk about the goaltending position. Both of us are goalies. Obviously, if we were 6'5", we might have had a better career. Speaking of that, what are you seeing from Gibson Homer, and what can we expect out of this kid for this season?
He looks really good. He's 6'5", off skates, and he's athletic, and he competes. He reads the play incredibly well. He works harder at his craft than I think anybody I've ever had in this program at any position. And he just is a likable, lovable kid. The team loves him. They play hard for him. He's the guy in net that you want to win for, and so we have high expectations for Gibby. I know he has high expectations for himself. We love our depth at that position. Luke Pavicic has looked really good, a transfer from UMass Lowell, and he's going to play a big role too. You
talk about expectations, and we had a chance to talk with Ty Murchison about expectations, and he set the bar high inside the room with this older leadership group, and he's talking NCAA tournament. He doesn't see any reason why this team can't be in the tournament this season. Tough conference, NCHC, very difficult, the best conference in college hockey. Are those realistic expectations for people to expect from this program?
I think so. I think that we'd be selling ourselves way short if we didn't have those expectations. I think, the last 2 years were a game over 500 against the NCHC in 15 games. So we've been very competitive and successful against everyone in that league, beating North Dakota, beating Denver, beating Omaha, and Colorado College. And so we're confident. It doesn't mean there aren't going to be a lot of bumps in the road, because there are. It's going to be the toughest schedule we've ever played. I think the focus for us right now, and me as a head coach, is putting that kind of to the side right now. And we have 8 non-conference games to focus on before we get into that. So, we're going to talk about segmenting the season, and right now it's those first 8 games that we have to be focused for, and make hay and get some wins before we head into conference play.
The last thing I want to ask you about today is the news just came out that ASU Hockey has signed a TV deal with Fox 10. They've got, I think it's 11 games now going to be on TV here locally. That's a first for ASU hockey. How important it is to get fresh eyes on this team, especially right now with the other team that we will not mention leaving town.
Yeah, I mean, with the NHL not here, I think it's huge. It's huge for the growth of the game. And, like I've always said, we're a realistic light at the end of the tunnel for kids that play hockey here in the Valley. They'll be able to click on the TV and see Division I hockey against some of the teams they're going to be able to see it against if they can't get in the building for the local school is going to be incredible. And I think just you peel back to how far we've come in such a short period of time. I can remember the days where we were playing at the Ice Den as a club team, and students were trying to get on through dial-up internet just to get our games streamed. And now we're on TV, so it's pretty cool, and it's something we want to make sure is a huge success.
Thanks for taking the time, Coach, and we'll keep up with you all season long.
Awesome. Thanks, Petey.